Akhila Sivadasi, it can and will be argued that sting operations are legitimate means of developing stories. There are several stories that our group has done which wouldn't have been possible if we hadn't used sting operations. The Gujarat riot story, Operation Duryodhan, cash for vote. Several of those stories have been path-breaking investigations which have been enabled by sting operations. Surely you're not making the case that all of that needs to stop because of concerns here and what's happened in Britain?
Not if it involves entrapment, no. Because then you're not really, creating a sting. You're just luring people into the bait and then you're trapping them. No, because then you are, in the name of, whatever, using an unethical means to get to an unethical or an ethical end, you're getting yourself into a corner. But I'd just like to make one comment on this quality of journalism. One of the things that we are very happy about as viewers, as consumers, in the last couple of months, years, a lot of these kind of very, very, dogged kind of, stories have been coming out, chasing, whatever, what they call the quest for justice. Very often, the contradiction is not what they are doing. They keep, sort of literally berating the other side for their poor ethical standards, for their travesty of justice, but they never look within, An impact, what they call an impact story doesn't mean that you have suddenly become part of what is called an ethical framework. And there's a constant, patting on your back saying, but we've done this, but for us, no 2G would be out there. And at the same time, there's a lot of reviling. No, we are not good enough. We are still very sort of, still very substandard. So I think media needs to de-link what they call impact stories. And when you want to do impact stories and you want to chase justice, then you better be on the same wicket, the same ethical wicket. Because otherwise it gets untidy. As
we draw to the last part of this debate, and I want to shift our attention to the third centre stage face-off question for tonight. Has the quality of debate in Britain's parliament exposed India's parliamentarians? And I want to put this question first to Nalini Singh. We see, it's tragic what we see in Indian parliament, jumping into the well of the house, making complete fools of themselves. Does this really show Indian parliamentarians what we have been doing in the past some decades ago and what we really ought to be doing?
Rahul, I'll have to say, with great respect to Parliament, actually, when debates are going on, it is as if it's an opium den. There are fumes when people will say something, and I'm sorry, as I said, I'll probably be hauled up in Parliament for this, but that is what it looks like. Forensic questioning by the opposition, by the ruling party, then we actually gain from the debate. But the other thing I want to say is that it seems to be the dichotomy is that the parliamentarians who are saying nothing are actually so powerful, so that when we journalists do not apply, we apply our friendship, we let our friendship override objectivity. It is only because we are in awe of their power and they can do much damage to us. I asked
some MPs, look at how well researched your contemporaries in Britain are. Look at their questioning. Look at the fact that they've got all these facts and figures all lined up. They turned up and said, do you know that they've got big research staffs? Do you know that they get paid money to hire all these research staffs? How much money do we get paid? How do you expect me to have researchers? Does that argument hold, or have they really exposed India's parliamentarians?
Let me put it this way. No British MP gets 5 crores for MP lad or anything like that. In the Indian Parliament, it is not lack of resources. I've been to I've been to Lok Sabha Library, and all the books and volumes are untouched by human hands because nobody does that. It would be very easy for Indian MPs to hire people who would volunteer to work for nothing as interns. But they're not interested in that because their career advancement is not in doing research, but in chatting up their superiors and collecting money.